Welcome to the Difficult Question Podcast. I am Bob Howard. The Difficult Question is a podcast about opinions, and it's where every opinion matters. It's also where we have some of the most healthiest debate around some of the most difficult topics. Our topic for today is, what has happened to America? That's a huge topic. That can go all over the place. That's a big one. So we got some outstanding guests. Everyone here has been on the podcast before, and they've weighed in with some fabulous opinions. So we got Mark returning, we got Will, we got Kim, and we got Justin today. And we're going to talk about what has happened to America. I guess the first thing I would like to ask is, what is the state of America? Where are we now? You know, I know where we've been and all of that stuff, and we talked about that, but where are we now? What do you guys think the state of America is, I guess, on the world stage? What do you think is going on with America, Justin?
Oh, man, why you have to go to me first? This is why I say that. I say that because usually with these questions, you know, a lot of thoughts, a lot of opinions come to mind, like really quick. This one, I feel like I'm struggling to really nail it down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but as far as what's going on, I could just observe what I see. I feel like there's what's going on in the world. When I walk around, everything seems okay. I get on the internet though, and this place is burning down pretty much. You know what I'm saying? You get on the internet, it's a lot of unrest, a lot of racial tension and stuff in the streets. You got this big rift between the political poles and all of that. That's the one of the biggest things, I guess, that's going on. At least the most obvious thing in the country right now. We could get into it more in a little bit, but that's just a start right there.
Okay, yeah, Mark, you look like you want to. What do you think is going on?
You know, I think what's going on with America right now, I think we're divided. I think some people may not think like I think. I think, like he said, the media. Every media outlet has their own agenda, and their agenda is to divide us. And that's their way of actually sensationalizing and selling, so you can sit up there and watch, CNN. Fox has their narrative, CNN, MSNBC. Everybody has something that is all about division. They're dividing us by race. They're dividing us by, people that are illegal and legal. They divide us by academic status. It's all about division in this country, because if they divide us, then they can actually conquer us, because we're pretty much, you can go after this little group, that little group, and every other little group you can go after, instead of trying to take everybody on, because we're all Americans at the end of the day. Okay, so you think it's a lot of division going on. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, kind of like what Mark's saying. I think what's going on in America right now, man, is the closet door open. A lot of things that was hidden, and they're exposed now. It's racism back to the forefront. Not like Mark said, they separating us not only by race but by class. Your educational stance. I think now it's just a lot of dirty laundry that fell out that closet, and we're being forced to, because of the internet and all of the information
I believe that too.
Now, we're forced to deal with it. It's in our face. We're forced to deal with it. But I think with the proper conversations and acknowledgments, we could come out of this pretty good. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that's going on in America right now.
Okay. All right. Kim, what do you think? What's going on in America? What has happened? I guess the question is, from you growing up in the state of America today, what has happened to America?
I think, I'm going to piggyback on what Mark was saying about being divided. I don't think that it's the media that's dividing us. I think that it's our leaders, and the media is just taking sides. And it is about divide and conquer. I feel that America basically is what it's always been. It's steeped and wrapped in racism and white supremacy. So that is, until we eradicate that, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to continue to be this. So it's just on another level right now. Trump's presidency, this is what I want to say. Trump's presidency lifted a veil on them hiding it in public. And what Will is saying, the veil has been lifted. So people are blatantly expressing their racism.
I
now.
agree.
So that's where we are.
So I overwhelmingly,
also,
hold
like I
on,
say-
Mark, hold on. I overwhelmingly hear like division, I like what has happened to America. So has America always been divided, or is it something new? Is this a new division, or is it like Will said? Is it like the door is open now, and has, you know, if the door is open now, we just see it more, or
It's always been here. It's always been here.
okay.
I remember, you know, you tell you do not go to Livonia. They'll pull you over if you had black tires in Livonia. You know what I mean? There has always been this division here. Always. And like Will said, it's coming out now. Because like Kim said and Justin can, you know, everybody has a camera now. It's hard to get away with things that you got away with. Think about it. Had George Floyd, nobody had a camera, it would have just went as just another murder. It would have nothing would have ever happened. The only thing that made that happen is because of the actual media coverage and the phone footage. You know, if it's not for that, then they'll still be getting away with it. We know, cops have been killing, black people.
Listen to that. Listen to that though. Like we talk about divided and all of that, but are we planning to? And Mark said, and they will still get away with it. We even have this they and us mentality in America and stuff.
Yes,
like
we
that.
do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, if we saying they and us, maybe we part of the problem too.
I agree.
Well,
we all
can I?
Hold on. Let's go one at a time. Go ahead.
No,
Can I say this?
All American. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, not a problem. No, what were you going to say? We're all Americans?
We are.
I was just hitting on what Justin said. Like, we're part of the problem. The thing is, we all American. We all are part of this system. We all are.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But we also have to look at the history, what has happened in this country. I'm not going to say these in order, but if you look at, first of all, slavery, then Jim Crow, you look at Tulsa, Oklahoma, if you look at redlining, if you look at internment camps for Asians, I mean, McCarthyism, if you look at all of those things, what is all of that?
Is the only division...
It never went away. It's still here. A lot of people felt like it's going. It's still here.
Mark. Hold on. Is the only division racism? Is the only you guys act like you guys act like that the division is only racism. Is the division just racism? Will said. Hold on, Mark. Hold on. We don't want to talk over each other. Okay. But listen to this. We talked about, Will had some valid points. He talked about, you got education division, you got income division, you got like gender division. There's more than racism. Sometimes we get fixated on one thing when we really...
All that, but all of that is encompassing. It's encompassing, though. All of that is a part of racism, though. When you're talking about economic disparities there are whites with that are low income too, Kim. But this is the thing. This is the thing.
It's not all black and white.
Racism has a lot to do. I'm going to say white supremacy has a lot to do with economics. That's a big part of it.
Yes, it is.
So if you're talking
it's
about,
not all black and white though. What about black division? There's division between black people.
Say that again.
There's division between black people. It's not all black and white. The division is. Go ahead. Okay.
I understand that, but if you look at everything, you have to look at everything in the real sense. When you're talking about divisions, when it comes to black people, what are the factors that are involved? There are many factors that are involved. Part of it is racism because we have been put in a position where we are divided. Some of us are allowed to make it, and some of us are not. And some white people make it, and some white people don't. Racism is insidious. It's insidious, and it's about dividing and conquering.
That's what it's about. It's about division.
Okay, hold on. Justin raised his hand. Justin, what did you have to say? Mark, we're going to you next.
I mean, this is one of those things where it's like I'm agreeing with you, but I'm gonna push you a little bit on what you're saying, Kim. Like I agree, like racism, and you know what I mean. Even think about the place plantation, how they divided people based off who was light skinned, who wasn't, who was mixed, who wasn't, who was in the field, who wasn't, and that legacy that continues and all of that. But are you not taking away Black people's agency, our own autonomy, our own ability to make decisions and stuff by saying our division is white people's fault? We don't got no responsibility for our own division, essentially. Is kind of go ahead.
So this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say to that. And then I'm going to let somebody else speak. Okay. I'm going to go back to Tulsa, Oklahoma. When we became economically independent, they came in and they destroyed all of that. What is happening now, even today, when you look at the voting, Black and brown people went to the polls and made sure Joe Biden got into office. We elected Barack Obama. Now they're trying to change our voting rights. So they're trying to make it harder. They're trying to make it harder for us to vote. They're trying to make it, they're even trying to enact laws to stop
who
us
are
from
they?
protesting.
My thing is,
hold on. Yeah,
who are they?
Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
They're even trying to put in vote rights. They're trying to enact laws to stop us from protesting inequality. So this is what happens. Whenever we try to get ahead, there are people in this country, white supremacists and people in this country who feel that we should not be allowed to have any kind of power, economic or any other power in this country.
Now, I go back to, Jesse might remember affirmative action. What when we talk about they, we may not be talking about the white supremacists. We are talking about an institutionalized division, which is well above the people. The people that come at us are not a part of that institutionalized division. Like affirmative action. What they did was they when we had affirmative action in place, they pointed to I say white people who are in the same class, middle class, lower class, and say, hey, this Black guy got this job instead of you because of affirmative action. So that brought in division and anger. They pointed at you, but the people that are doing the division are not the people that are attacking us. They're being controlled too by by institutionalized racism, whatever it is. And this and that because
So Mark, let me ask Will. Are we like brainwashed into fixating on the race issue? Are we brainwashed into fixating on that because that's all we talk about? That's all because what happens is, again, you said there was a bunch of different types of division, but yet all we can talk about is the racist division. Is that affecting how we get ahead, or if we get ahead?
I think for us, Bob, I think with Kim, Mark, all of us Black, so of course we're gonna lean towards the racist thing, because it directly affects us. Now, one thing I wanted to ask Kim and Mark. What they're saying is valid, but do you think that's more of an economical thing than a racist thing?
It's both.
Because the thing is, the top 1% has all the wealth.
All of it.
The top 1% has all the wealth.
But
hold on, Mark. Hold on. Let's not listen.
Americans own 75% of the land in America. Like it's so when you say they're trying to. Me personally, I feel like, it goes beyond racism and into classism. One thing I think we're forgetting about, one of the most dangerous things that Trump did during his presidency is he separated the religions. And one thing that's bigger than racism is when you divide religions. You got Muslims versus Christians. He divided everybody on everything. Extreme Muslims, we got to get them out of here. So you're talking about one of the biggest religions in the world that he's alienating. Right. So I think it goes bigger than racism. Racism is a part of it, but I think it's way bigger.
It's division. It's
division. Right. Hold on.
That's war strategy.
Can I ask you this?
Division.
Okay, so we
division.
want to talk one at a time. One at a time. Let's talk one at a time.
So, Will, can I ask you this? Anybody on the panel? Okay. So, if you're looking at Trump's election and you're looking at Trump, the people that voted for him when he was going up against Joe Biden, when you look at Republican, when you look at their platform and the things that they are promoting for as their agenda, most of the people that voted for Trump were poor white people. So if none of his policies,
I would push back on that. Is that a fact? Is that a fact, or what you feel?
What do you think? What do you think that they're voting for? These are racist people, and these are people who feel that they have been left behind because of the browning of this country.
Yes.
So hold on.
What they're trying to do is get that power back because these are racist people who feel that they don't have anything else. They don't have
They feel like they don't have a voice.
And all this other stuff.
And Trump was their voice.
So all they have is their race. And that's what they're voting for.
Trump was their voice.
So let me hey, hold on. Let me I know everybody's passionate about this, but I want to let everybody get an opportunity. Justin, you want to say something for a while?
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, you want to say something for a while? Go ahead.
No, this is all interesting, and I don't think, like, how do I say this? Donald Trump, racism. That's what happened to America, according to what I'm seeing going on right here. Do you not realize that's exactly what the Democratic media told you to think? You know what I'm saying? Like
I agree.
I agree. A thought outside of what you've been told to think. The way that you just talked about poor white people, they're all racist. They're this. That, okay, Kim, you can respond in a second. But I'm not hearing any of it. We're all brainwashed on this panel because
that's why I say the media.
We might be on CNN right now. We're not looking past the stuff that they putting in front of us. You know, during the pandemic.
Hold on. Can we let Justin finish, please? Can we please let Justin finish?
During the pandemic, your blue state governor who shut down your economy sent all races of middle class, lower class people into poverty more so than before, while Jeff Bezos, while Bill Gates, while all the rich people got richer and
they got richer.
But they put George Floyd in your face. They put Donald Trump in your face. They put all of that. So you focused on that and not realizing how they looting the dang money.
I agree. I totally agree. It's like a magician.
I agree with that.
Like
as
a magician.
Well.
I'm saying
they put something in front of you and they're playing you behind your back. This is what they do.
Saying the stuff that they telling you to think, then you're not really thinking.
Yes. I totally agree.
Okay,
I believe the media.
My point was in that whole situation, and I agree with what you're saying.
It seems like you're fixated, Kim. It seems like you're fixated on the race thing, and Will started out. Will started out with there's so many different types of division. There's division, and I mean the economic division is not just black people; it's everybody in our sector.
This is the thing, and I'm never going to. Because I've looked at this and I've studied this. Everything leads back to that.
I disagree with you.
Saying.
I disagree. It's about
what he's saying.
I agree with more. I agree more with economics. It's all goes back to economic. Justin just said it. While they threw something in our face, and guess what happened? When they threw it in our face, they took away and they keep taking all the money. They keep taking all the money.
It's just like, my thing is, I say the media to me is nothing more than a propaganda tool. It's a propaganda tool for the people who have the money. What they do is they have us looking at George Floyd. They have us looking at this. They have us
Justin
looking at
just
that.
Said that.
And while we're not looking at them, they're tearing us up. See, they keep us focused, which is what the media does. They keep us focused on what they want us to focus on. If we all came together, black, white,
racism,
everybody, and say we're Americans at the end of the day, and we start looking at what really is going on, then we might look at see what they're doing.
And let me ask you something. Hold on. Let me ask you. Has any black person ever been hated on you because of you've done something well? Has any black person ever did that?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they have.
I mean, growing up, man, I say it as a joke all the time, but I had to knock a lot of dark-skinned guys out because I'm light-skinned. They instantly think I'm inferior. They think I'm weaker. They think I'm softer. They think, even now, you know, you got a whole slot of women who say, "Hey, I don't like light-skinned men," and that's fine. Your preference is fine, but that in itself is it's a interracial divide.
Now, let me give
So let me ask you something.
a real world
Did white
example
people
of
do
that.
that to you? Did white people do that to you?
Let me give you a real world example of that.
White people always tell me they love my eyes. White women say they love my eyes. But you know, but the thing is, you know,
until she calls the police on
Mark said, I feel like the media itself is our dictator. They dictate how we think. It's exactly what Justin is saying. You know, they keep us focused where they want us focused at. And I think one of the masteries of Donald Trump, like Trump, Mark, I know Mark hates it when I say it, but man, Trump was a masterful at the misdirection that he caused. He did it great. Even these poor white people that Kim talking about didn't realize that he didn't give a damn about them.
They didn't
even marry an American woman.
Clearly, how the rich got richer. The rich got richer. The poor, you was lucky if you stayed stagnated.
Let's okay, Justin. Let's go to Mark first, and then we go to you. Okay. Mark has something to say.
I wanted to give you a real world example of what we're talking about, division. I was at my job, and somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, this guy right here doesn't really like you." Big guy, whatever. And I was wondering why he didn't like me. You know, he just all of a sudden, it felt like because of where I work around a bunch of white people. I'm like one of the only black people, like in my profession. I'm the only black electrician, right, on my shift. And he instantly came and said, "Hey, he doesn't like me because I'm, and the only reason I got was because he felt like I thought I might be better than him because I'm around all these white people." It's not like that. You know, he just took that and ran with it. Right. And that's not the first time I've heard that at my job.
Right. So, Justin, you wanted to add something earlier. What did you want to add?
I just want to say, like, once again, you know, we going back to what they told us to think. So Donald Trump is all the issue. Let's talk about that. Not realizing that, did y'all not vote for this clown, Joe Biden, because he did all this stuff and all that, pointed you at Trump. Trump is real bad. Trump's real bad. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black, this. And what is he going to do for you? The same way poor white people voted for it, they do nothing. What is Joe Biden going to do for you? He's going to pack the court so that they could get more Democratic justices that's going to do policies that's going to enrich their people. He's going to try to make Washington, D.C. a state so he can add 2 more Democratic senators so that they could have a majority in the Senate and they could pass their laws that support their stuff. We know that none of these politicians, neither of these parties is for us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Neither of these parties is for us. Yet, look at us. We sitting here fighting the game. Oh, Donald Trump, all Republicans, all this. And we just playing the game for him. We playing the game for him. You know
it's
what
like
I mean?
we're brainwashed.
The game for him.
The brainwash.
We get our information from.
This is my thing. This is my thing, though. Okay. We live in a country where we have politicians. We have leaders that run this country. So if you're looking at the 2 candidates, I guess you as an individual, you have to say, okay, well, these policies will work more toward what I'm trying to get accomplished in this, in my life. And then this person isn't. That's what we have to do. So no, none of them are perfect. So this is all we have. But what our power is getting to the voting booth and voting in the person that is going to fit more with what you're trying to accomplish.
I got a question for Kim.
And the thing is,
hold on, Mark.
Can I finish my thought?
Yes.
Can I finish my thought?
I apologize.
Okay, thank you. All right. So I hear everybody speaking, and I see that we're kind of like making things really small. When we're talking about the United States, America, I'm talking about, economics is a big part of what's happening in this country. Classism, all of that, racism, all of that is a part of it. I think that it all leads I think racism is a part of all of that. I really do. Also, what we need to be looking at is what's actually happening in our country. The United States has always been an economic power, superpower. But right now, and this is something that all of us need to pay attention to because it's going to affect all of us. China is on our heels. For as nominal GDP, we're still ahead. But in purchasing power parity, China is China is ahead of us. And if the yen becomes stronger than the dollar, then we're going to have some issues. These are the things that we really need to be thinking about in this country. Because
when you hold on, when you say that, but you continue to be fixated on the race thing. Now you're starting to go.
I didn't say anything. I said that
I'm saying now you're starting to see
economics and classism and all of that. I think racism is a part of all of it.
It's a part of it, but
believe that.
I guess the topic is like, what has happened to America? What has created all of this division? I mean, okay, let me ask this question. Here's one. Why the division? Why the division? Why the division?
You're not looking at the hit. This is the thing. This is the thing. We can't just look. See, this is what's happening right now. You're just looking at today. You have to look at the history. America is what it's always been. It's what it's always been.
You're completely disagree with that.
Going on now.
So I want to know about why the division. Why the division, Justin? Why the division?
Yeah, all of that, everything. I think what Kim is saying is true, that this place has been very, very flawed from the start and all of that. But I heard Mark underneath everybody. He said something about we lost our moral compass. And I think that at the end of the day, if you actually ask me like what I really thought, because, me as a Christian, as like a person who's, what I'm saying, like we've abandoned a lot of the values that our parents, our grandparents taught us and all of that, you know what I mean? And once you get rid of that type of stuff that tries to get you to look at people as equal and do all of this stuff, what do you go back? You go back to we're human nature. We're terrible. We're tribal. We go put our in the groups. We're divisive. That's what we do. And we don't have a moral compass or God or anything to look to. So I think at the end of the day, like that thing that Mark said, that moral compass is probably like the biggest thing,
No, I agree with that 100%. And, I'm thinking like, what are some really, really big contributing factors? Like, and how do you guys think?
The biggest one, our moral compass, Bob.
Right. But I'm saying, how do you think social media, has social media accelerated the way that we think, or has it created another propaganda tool to divide us even further?
I think so. I think social media, as well as a lot of, going back to us as being Black people, the music we listen to, we degrade ourselves, and we degrade our women. Then all of a sudden, we degrade ourselves.
Again, we're talking about America, and what you just did, what you just did is divided yourself into us. It's like automatic that you divide yourself into. Okay, this is what's going on, and I understand. I think Will said that earlier. I understand that we are Black. We are Black, and so, yes, but we have to. And should we think of ourselves as Americans first before we think of ourselves as Black?
They don't want. Like I said. If we did that, if we thought of ourselves as Americans first, it would be better, because we were looking at, instead of looking at this person as a white person, we were looking at them as an American, a white American, a Black American. No matter what they are, what their status is, we need to look at that. That's where our moral compass is gone. So and like I said, we got the media telling us, the media's, which is a propaganda tool for the ultra rich, however you want to put it, the top 1%. CNN has an agenda. It used to be they reported the news. Now they make the news. It's totally different. It's no longer reporting the news. I agree with that
100%. Justin, there's a verse, and it says, "A house divided against itself." You want to finish that for me? Do you know that verse? House divided
against itself. It can't stand. Essentially, it'll fall. You know what I mean?
It will fall. And
that's kind of going back to what everybody said, right? Just, we divided against each other, and that division, for whatever reason it is, we just know that we divided, and I think another thing too, let me hold the mic for a second, is like, one of the things that bothers me, like, we just saw the end of the George Floyd trial, and then after that, the Dante Wright guy, and then after that, the Ma'Khia Bryant, and then there was another one and all of that. And because we're so caught up in the politics and like trying to put things in politics, which I'm saying you have to do at a certain point, we're not humanizing people. We're only seeing people as political objects. You know what I mean? We're not seeing them as people. Like this Ma'Khia Bryant girl, like everyone wants to say, oh, the shooting was justified or it wasn't because she had a knife, and just to advance our political agenda, instead of saying what a tragedy it is that this 15-year-old girl is in foster care, and what type of trauma is she experiencing in foster care that leads to this thing. Instead of just trying to legislate this one moment right here, think about how we all as a community failed her leading up to this moment, and like humanize this girl and see.
I agree, but that's your media. Your media, what they do is they totally politicize it. They put on there who they want to put on there. They show you what they want you to see, and a lot of our opinions are formed by the media. It's formed by where you get our information from.
Why let that happen, Mark? Because it's like we can't.
I totally agree.
Media when we came on here, you know this, but you still fall into it. Why?
I agree. I think in order for us as Americans, we're gonna pay Americans to move forward. We need to get away from the media. We need to have our own outlet. We need to have our own truth instead of them allowing them to give us their truth. This is their truth, not mine, not yours. You know what I mean? They totally.
So how do you go?
Hold on, we're getting to a point where everybody's talking. Hold on, Mark.
They politicized it, right?
Mark, you interrupt a lot. You interrupt a lot.
Okay.
So let somebody else talk.
I just wanted to say, Mark, like you're talking about the media as if this is something new that they have done. Since the creation of radio, they have did this.
I agree.
They elevated it when they came with television. Now it's social media. The media has always done this. It has always been our dictator here.
Right.
This is how they put information out here. A lot of us, if you talk to my grandmother, she'll tell you, hey, if it's on the news, it got to be true. A lot of us now, we know that it's not. A lot of people now think if they see it on social media, it's got to be true. So the thing is, they always have used this to put their agenda out here. So it's kind of like what Justin's saying. It's on us to kind of combat it. But I also think we all find our own truths through the media.
Can I ask you a question?
Got different opinions.
Can I ask you a question? So, Will,
the truth.
Right. One of the things, I'm Justin. That's exactly where I'm going. One of the things. Hold on, Will. One of the things me and Mark had this discussion offline. We talked about the media. The one aspect of the media, or one part of the media, is the individual. The individual is a part of the media. And, when we make records, I had a long history of making records and stuff like that. And when you deal with artists and you ask them, why do you write them lyrics? I mean, you ain't even a gangster. So why do you write those lyrics? And they always say it's what people want to hear. Let me ask you, is the media feeding us what we really want to hear?
Yeah, I think so. Because it's like I said, we all have our own separate opinions about things. We all have different perspectives on things. And I think the media, it's a marketing tool. It's sales. It's all sales. America itself is a corporation about sales. They selling you homes. They selling you accounts. They selling you jobs. They selling you college. Like, it's all about, and that's why I say earlier, that's why I asked Kim, is it more of an economical thing than a racist thing? Like, I think all that other stuff keeps us, unfocused and divided, so that we don't see they true plan. Because it's a shame that, I read in the pandemic, Jeff Bezos' income grew by $30 billion.
Right.
In a month. And everybody else is sitting home. Kanye West, I love Kanye West, but his wealth has doubled. Kanye West was broke 3 years ago. He's worth what, $6 billion now?
Right.
So we got to ask ourselves, like, especially the people, if we aren't rich like them, we got to ask ourselves what's going on, that the money stream is going upward.
So I want to ask
we also called Kanye West crazy for not thinking like a black person is supposed to think, and then he went and got rich while we sat at home not making no money.
So let me
we'll talk about that for too long, bro. Don't open that book. Open that.
So Kim, I want to ask you, Kim, why do you think, and then Justin, we're going to go to you after Kim. So I want you guys to answer this question. That gives Justin and you a little bit of time to think about it. So let me ask you, why do you believe that we are so easily divided? Why do you think we are so easily divided? Because if they throw something at you, And they do it every day. Donald Trump said, I could walk down the street and shoot somebody and these people will still follow me. Why do you think people are so easily divided? Or, okay, let's leave it at that. Why do you think people are so easily divided?
I think it's just where people's mindset is at the time. If you are in a situation where, I think that with Donald Trump, the people that follow him are people, like I was saying before, that feel like they were left behind.
Why do you think people in general, not just Donald Trump? I just want to use that as an example. But why do you think people are easily divided?
Can you let me answer?
Sure.
Can you let me answer? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting to that. All right. It just depends on where the person's mindset is, depending on if you're looking for something or not. That's just like with people with religion. If someone is having a tough time in their life and this comes along and it soothes and helps them feel better. If somebody is saying something that's making you feel like you're worthy and things like that, that's what happens. You're going to either be on this side or you're going to be on that side, depending on where your mind is. And a lot of people, because a lot of people are not leaders, they will listen to a person who is, like I said, is soothing and making them feel good about who they are. That's why we can be divided because people have their own.
Do you think you've succumbed to that?
Heads.
Do you think you've succumbed to that? Do you think you're an independent thinker, or do you think some of the media have got to you?
I'm somebody who, one thing that I try to do with myself is educate myself on things that I want to know. If I'm listening to somebody, I don't just take it at face value. I'm going to do research and find out whether it's true or not. If I can find evidence of it, I'm not somebody who is just somebody who just goes along to. I've never been like that. So yeah, I'm not one of those people.
So Justin, same questions. Why do you think it's so easy to divide us? I mean, Mark got the Michigan shirt on. We even are divided as far as colleges. You got Michigan, you got a Michigan State camp, and you got a Michigan camp. Why do you think it's so easy to divide us?
Well, in that way, that's a fun way. That's innocent when it's just rivalries and stuff. But as far as life, I think the human heart is exceedingly wicked. I think we're terrible, and that's human history. Us being violent, and us being divided, and us being tribal. And I also think that fear is the strongest emotion that we have. And when people appeal to fear, it's easy then to control you and for you to jump into a camp. And that's kind of what you see in the world. Like, it's what they did during Jim Crow. They made you afraid of Black people and what they would do to white women if you let them around and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And therefore, oh, man, no, we got to do all of this. We got to separate our society, do all of that. Nowadays with politics, I think a lot of it is they appeal to fear in order to get us to support agendas that don't necessarily favor us, you know, and that's just how people are, you know. But a lot of us aren't willing to admit that that's the truth about ourselves, that we're easily manipulated and all of that. And so we think we're wise, we think we're so much better than people in the past, so we just fall into it. Don't even realize that we fell into it. I fell into it. You asked him that. Yeah, I fell into it before. They had me at a $50,000 a year college. I made it all the way there, and then they told me, and they had me thinking I was oppressed and stuff, that I couldn't make it unless white people changed and all of that. You know what I mean? Which wasn't true at all. But they taught me that. They appealed to fear. They did all of this stuff. They got me when I was at a low point and stuff, and they had me thinking that. You know what I mean? And I had to dig myself out of that and change my whole mentality. I hated white people for a period of my life. You know what I mean? And what did that do? It didn't harm them. It harmed me. It kept me down. It kept me angry. It kept me all of that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, I think it's human nature to be tribal, to let fear be like one of our most dominant emotions, to not really go off of what's true, you know, and do our research like Kim does, you know what I'm saying? But instead to go off of what we feel and our opinions and stuff like that. We're just, we're not as bright. We're not as big. We're not as smart. We're not as capable as we think we are at the end of the day, I think.
Okay. So, Mark, let me ask you, do you think that you have ever been manipulated or divided by something somebody said, the media, social media? Do you think you've ever been manipulated at all?
Yes, I believe we all have. For me to sit up here and say no, I would be lying to you. You get divided by things on the job. Somebody can come up with a rumor on the job and you take it as truth without researching it, and you can get divided on that. Like you say, a lot of it is we're not educated. We don't educate ourselves. Like Kim said, I'm at a point right now, I don't take anything at face value. I listen to what somebody tell me, and then I go research it and make sure it's true. But I try not to speak on things I don't know. I hear people all the time at work and at different luncheons and things tell me something. I'll be like, okay, not a problem. They think I agree, but I don't agree. I'll go back and then I may question them on it. It's been so many times somebody has told me something that is simply not true. They come with numbers that are simply not true. Oh, do you know that so many people did? Then you go research it. It's not true. Me and you have went back and forth on issues like that. Somebody tell you, hey, we need to educate ourselves. Have I been manipulated? Everybody here has.
Okay. Well, I want to hear from you. Do you think you've been divided? I mean, in like on different mediums. I would say people tend to be like, I think the media, an individual could be the media, because somebody at work, like Mark said, somebody at work could say something about you and everybody in the whole place will believe it, and with no evidence at all, and they will believe it. So do you think you've ever been divided by any of these mediums before?
Yeah, of course. Because it's like I said earlier, we all have our own opinions and feelings on things. And I think, if they could appeal to your opinion or how you feel about something, you'll go with it. Especially if it's something you feel strongly towards. So, if they like, let's take, back to racism, but let's say if we got a medium that's telling us, hey, racism is why you can't get ahead, black man. And you're a black man and you just left a job that a white man told you don't qualify for, you're going to go with that. You're going to say, hey, man, the white man got his foot on my neck, instead of trying to create an opportunity of your own. So I think we're all human beings and we're susceptible to that. Mm-hmm. We all can be led astray just by somebody appealing to what you feel.
Right. I appreciate that. So, Kim, now we're going to talk about what we're going to do. What do we have to do? We got to do something. If America, I was reading an article and it was talking about the American decline, right? And in the American decline, it was more than just race. There was economic. There's the global stage. There's a lot involved with it. That's another reason why I think this definitely has to have a part two, because right now we're talking about just division as a whole. But let me ask you, what do you think we have to do to strengthen America, get America out of this division? What do we have to do?
I'm just going to say this, and I totally believe this. I think that white supremacy has to be totally eradicated for this country to move and become in order for people to have the American dream, for this to be a great country. Yes, economically, we're a great country, but the way that we treat our people is not a good thing. And it's all about white supremacy. And I think that white supremacy needs to be eradicated. And I think that everybody in this country will be able to have the so-called American dream.
Wow. So we recognized earlier that there was other types of division, right? There's economic division. There's
I'm saying, you're not listening to me.
Of course I am. I'm listening. I just understand that there's more than one type of division.
I'm saying white supremacy. White supremacy encompasses everything. It encompasses racism. It encompasses sexism. All of that. All of the isms is a part of white supremacy. That's why I'm saying it needs to be eradicated. So everybody can have the
that doesn't even make sense.
Opportunity to have. Excuse me?
That doesn't make sense. White supremacy.
How does that not make sense?
White supremacy is a singular thing.
White supremacy has. No, listen to what I'm saying. See, for some reason, you're not listening to me. White supremacy affects race. It affects economics. It affects sexism. It affects everything that we do in this country. It's a part of that. It affects all of that. That's why I'm saying it needs to be eradicated so people can be able to get education. Do you know where we are as far as our education in this country? We have all of the, listen to this, we have all of the Ivy Leagues here, and we're number 14 when it comes to 24 and 35-year-olds, and then we're number 11 overall. So white supremacy, in my opinion, is a part of all of that. So that's how I feel.
So again, that's how you feel. But there are other types of division other than racism. So go ahead, Justin.
I mean, I want to come in. I want to defend.
Racism is not only part of white supremacy. This is what I'm trying to get across to you.
White
supremacy is not just about racism. It's about many things.
Yeah, let me hop in. I want to defend Kim a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I understand what she's saying. Like, it's intersectionality. You know what I mean? How like all of these things are interconnected, and you can't really take one apart from the other. It's just like, like racism. Yeah, but like I'm just saying how it's explained. I see your face. I'm just saying how it's explained.
Because there was the Holocaust. All those folks were white. The Holocaust, all of those people were white.
That gives more,
all of those people were white.
Oh my God.
Okay, you're not listening. You got look, because there's a difference, and there's always been a difference between anti-Semitism is a thing because like Jewish people have always been separate from white people. We might look at them as black people, but they just white too, but that's not how it looks. That's
exactly.
Hold on, wait a minute. Being Jewish.
Did you hear those people? Did you hear those white supremacists talking about Jews?
Yeah, white supremacists hate. White supremacists white people hate.
When you break it down, Jewish is a religion. It's not a race.
Hitler started with the black people in Germany. He started killing off all the black people in Germany before he went to the Jews. So if you want to talk about the Holocaust, we could throw a little racism in that.
All right.
But you know what?
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Will.
That's more intense. I just wanted to say though.
Thanks, Justin.
I'm gonna answer a question about what should we do and all that, but I don't want it to come across like Kim isn't making sense. I want to be one that says I think Kim is making a whole lot of sense when she's talking about like the intersectionality and stuff. What should we do? I'm more of a pessimist than Kim is, I guess, in the sense that I don't think you can erase white supremacy because
we'll never erase it.
To be racist. It's human nature to be tribal. It's human nature to divide. You can't really get away with that. What can I do personally in my life? I think it is having conversations like this, especially if you could get people with different opinions and stuff and breaking it down. I think Kim mentioned earlier, like, well, why did people vote for Donald Trump? It was all this economic anxiety, feeling like they aren't heard and all of that. Break it down from like the Trump stuff to like what's underneath that. You know what I mean? And that's more human when people are talking about their fears, their worries about being left behind and all of that. That's more honest and all that. And just kind of having more human conversations with people. And yes, being able to exist with people who don't think like you, that don't believe the same thing you do. Being able to live next to people like that, that has to be something too. That's kind of a lost art. We think that if someone doesn't agree with us 100%, or someone doesn't 100% see things our way, then they're a bigot, they're this, and we need to get rid of them and all that. You know what I mean? So just kind of being able to, at least in the meantime, like I said, I don't think we're gonna get rid of white supremacy. So it is just
never get rid of them.
I don't think so either. I'm just trying to figure out how do we get past that? How do we stop being so fixated on it so we can get past it? That's the only thing. We cannot get past it.
I just want to say to Kim though, Kim, you do realize a whole section of black people voted for Trump.
More voted for him in 2020 than
I do.
It wasn't just.
I do realize that.
It wasn't just the poor white man who voted Trump, and there was a bunch of poor blacks who voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Know what? There are black white supremacists. There are black white supremacists.
Oh my goodness!
I do believe that. I do believe that.
You know what? I believe. Like for instance, I wear
racism. I think. And it goes to a conversation me and Mark had one day. And Mark, you helped me kind of understand something. And I don't know if you're going to remember, but Mark said that a lot of these white guys, like if you look at Obama giving gay rights, the fact that he was a black president, a lot of red-blooded Americans who morally don't believe in gay rights and stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them who don't believe that a black man should be at the helm of the country. Like that upset them. So when Trump came out and, hey, let's make America great again, he actually was talking about, when the Carnegies and the Rockefellers and all of them openly ran the country.
But
The
yeah.
racism and they
Well,
took it as racism and like let's get our moral compass back on.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Hold on. We getting wild. We getting wild. Let's calm down. We getting wild. We haven't heard from Mark in a while. Let's hear from Mark. Mark, you want to add to that?
Are you kidding me?
Here we go. Here we go, Kim. Let me tell you something. My thing is, if you want to move forward, like I say, the biggest thing you have to use our moral compass. You're never going to stop division. You're never going to stop white supremacy. Just like I wear a Michigan shirt, somebody wears a Michigan State shirt. And Michigan don't like Michigan State or whatever. I had a buddy of mine that got into a fight with a guy at a bar over Michigan and Michigan State. You're not going to get rid of it. What you have to do is you have to have a moral compass. Do you know overseas, people are not divided by color. They're divided by religion. They always, in order to change, we have to know your enemy. We have to know what we're thinking, what's dividing us. And we have to know that, first of all, we have to have our moral compass together. Right. We have to respect the other person's opinion or whatever. We have to respect it.
That's what this is about. Justin, you were about to say something, and I cut you off. What were you about to say?
All I was saying was factually, like, I think misinformation is a big thing. I think there's a big difference between all of these politicians, what we think they are and what they actually do and all of that. I think misinformation is a big thing. And that's why I think, like, it's too much information. Like, we're inundated with so much information. How many executive orders did Trump put out? How many executive orders did Biden put out? He's put out so far. We can't keep up with all of this stuff. All we can get is the media, what they tell us to think about all of that. So what's the point? I mean, try to keep up as much as you can, but you know what I mean? That can we figure it out? Like, can we handle all of this information? And if that's the answer, if there's no one in this world that can create a society that functions for 330 million people. There's nobody in the world that can create a society that gets rid of human nature, i.e. racism and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of like a you can reduce it, sure. You can encourage people to be their better selves and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's like, as a black person, what's my life? I'm supposed to sit here and fight, waste my whole life, tire myself out, hoping white people change? I can't do that. That's a waste of a life,
No.
Right. So one of the things
they're never going to change.
One of the things we have to do.
I think based off of where you were born, y'all were born in the 60s, right? Literally soon after, or some of y'all was born before Martin Luther King died, middle of the civil rights movement, grew up very post Jim Crow. We don't live there now anymore. It's different now. And maybe I'm stupid because I'm only 27 and I was born in the 90s, but it seems odd to say that
it's different, but the same.
Back in the day, and white people are like they were back in the day. Like, I think that's a silly thing to say, and that like goes against everything I've experienced in my life.
So
people are still protesting Black people being killed by police officers.
Yeah,
so,
we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about this. We fixate on a police officer shooting a black guy, but we never talk about. For the last 3 days in Detroit, each night somebody got killed in Detroit. At least one person, because it was reported each night. And we won't discuss that. We need to start discussing that. But listen, like I said, this particular conversation, right? I agree, but what I'm saying is this. I knew this conversation was going to go long. I knew it was going to have multiple parts, right? This is just part one, right? And I think it was a very, very good conversation. I think everybody is passionate about what their opinion, right? And I knew it, right? So one of the things I want to do is on part two, I do want to have the same panel, if we could, the same panel of guests, and we take this conversation a little bit further, right? We talked about the division, right? So what's happening in America? We have the division, but there's some other things going on. So I would like to invite you guys to another podcast where we talk about it more and we kind of define it. I do want to get to the point where we start to think about solutions, right? So you guys just go back. I don't know how you guys prepare for these, but start to think about some solutions, like really, really good, tangible solutions, things that we could actually put into action. And not that we're going to be the ones that actually do these things, but we want to be at least we're part of the media, whether you believe it or not, a podcast. If one person listens to this podcast, we're a part of the media, and maybe we can influence somebody to do some good things. Do you guys agree with that?
Totally.
All right. So, like I said, it's been real. You guys get a little wild on me, but it's cool. I enjoy it. So let's do this. We're going to wrap this one up, and we're going to do part 2. So maybe next weekend or something like that. I'll hit you guys up. It gets intense on here, man. Everybody's got their opinion. So you guys, you make sure you have a awesome rest of your day. And we will see you on the next difficult question.